Welcome back, everybody, to the Nosebleeds podcast. I'm Chris Witt, and with me, as always, is Mr. Adam Schmidt. Adam, how are you today, sir?
Couldn't be better. How about you?
I'm doing fantastic because I just saw our guest for the week take a sip out of his recently earned Masters Cup. I know that cup. I know that cup very well. I got a bunch of those bad boys. How many green ones do you have, Adam?
I have way too many.
I made sure we had plenty that I had plenty to bring home as well. Anyway, Adam Baum is joining us. 1831 Sports. My microphone is all goofed up right now, but that's all right. 1831 Media, all in one, all in producer, executive producer. He's got like 7 different credits on the all in deal that he did with Xavier. Sean Miller Sports Podcast. Sean Miller Sports. I'm all messed up today. We brought Sean Miller with us, bobblehead, for the
Oh, you didn't
podcast today,
destroy it.
Adam.
That's good. Yeah.
Anyway, Adam just got back from the Masters. We've got a lot to talk about. Masters, Sean Miller, all in series. Adam, how we doing today, buddy?
I'm good, man. I'm still recovering. I know before we went live, you were telling me that you got the pleasure to go down last year, and I was kind of there all week. And when you're there, um, my step count was just legendary. I think my final tally for the week was like 145,000 steps or something like that.
Nice. Do you have
Yeah.
insoles in your shoes?
No,
Oh, bro.
I So I'm kind of a crazy person in the sense that I love to walk. So my feet, I think, are just they're built differently.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can walk for days.
So this is what I tell everybody about Augusta National, and you can agree or disagree. Last year, I had the privilege of going to Valhalla and to Augusta. I went Thursday and Sunday at Valhalla, and then I had the Tuesday practice round at the Masters. Valhalla is probably the hilliest place I've ever been in my life. However, there's not a flat piece of ground at Augusta National unless you're going to the bathroom or buying snacks
Yeah. Or standing on a tee box.
on the tee box. Yes. And
Yeah.
even then, you can't get close enough. So you're like how the tee box is a little bit raised. So you're still on a little
Yeah.
bit of a hill. My calves were on fire after one day at Augusta. How many days were you there?
I got to go to 3 days this year. So Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday. And then on Friday and Sunday, I played golf at a course where there are no carts. It's walking only. So
Ooh,
we
ooh,
got some. Even on the days I wasn't at Augusta, I was still putting in miles.
attaboy, attaboy. How'd you shoot
No,
out
but
there?
I played pretty well for it being early in the year and not having really touched my club since October. I went 82, 81, so I'm pretty
There
pleased
you
with that.
go. I see you
Nice.
working. Got that flat stick cooking, don't you?
I know. That's really what it all comes down to.
I know
No,
that's
but
right.
you're so right about Augusta and that one of the things that kind of gets lost a little bit on watching it on TV is how drastic some of the slopes and undulations are. And you're hitting down into a valley, you're hitting back up a giant hill, and it's remarkable how that course came together and what it looks like when you're standing there watching it.
So on Tuesday when I went last year, you couldn't. I mean, obviously you can't have phones, but you could bring a camera. You could have an actual camera.
Yeah.
So I brought our nice camera. It's got the 200 millimeter lens on it. I was taking pictures of Tiger Woods nose hairs last year, but I took a picture from the side of the green, level with like my head was level with the first green, and the picture of the slopes and on the greens are insane, insane. I'm talking 6 foot height difference in some parts
Yeah.
of the green. It's
And
ins-
it's great. It's crazy when you hear them talk about it, like the pros and their caddies, and it's like a lot of those greens that they're hitting into, you have like the space where you can actually land your golf ball and get it to stop. It's crazy. Like you look at the green and you're like, oh, that's a big green. You got a lot of space you can play to. No, there are very specific points on that green where it's like if you don't land your ball there and you don't generate any spin, your ball is not going to stay on that green. So it's just like it's the ultimate test.
For the average golfer, you're not keeping your ball on the green. You
No,
can't keep your ball on the green. It's rolling off the back, rolling off the side. It's not happening.
Yeah, Adam, you were right. Like you kind of said this, like on TV, it doesn't seem that way. Like it
yeah.
sound I've never been there, but you guys, the way you're talking about it, it's like it doesn't TV doesn't really capture it.
No, no,
Yeah.
it doesn't. It's one of those things where it's like standing there, walking up and down it, you get such a greater appreciation for the challenge. And I don't know, the really like the thought that went into building that place. And just I'm sure Chris can attest to this. The way I describe it to people is there's not a blade of grass out of place on that property. It's like everything is manicured. Even the grass when you're walking into the grounds before you even get inside the gates, it's like that grass looks good too. They
Yep.
like the whole piece of property is just it's my favorite sporting event I've ever been to. And then like little stuff like the way that they operate their lines and like how quickly you go through concessions, how quickly you go through the bathrooms, how quick, sometimes the merch line gets a little aggressive, but even then, like it still moves for how many
Mhm.
people that are competing and getting in there. So it's just a supremely well run event.
I
Is that just because they have like so many volunteers working, or they just
Oh
have a
yeah.
system that nobody else uses? Just
Yeah.
they have enough workers.
Well, there's some interesting stuff about the Masters that you can look into, and a lot of it pertains to they could make way more money than they actually do. I'm sure that you've seen the concession stand prices. Like the most expensive thing they have on the menu is $6, and it's those crow's nest beers that come in
Mhm.
the green cups. But it's just like they they take less money on their TV deals so that they don't have signs from sponsors all over the place, and there aren't these big hospitality booths with the biggest sponsors and things like that. So they leave a ton of money on the table, but what they gain with that is they gain like complete control of that event. They get a say in how long like the commercials are, they get a say in how the event is run, how many people get onto the grounds, how much they have to charge for tickets. Like all of that is within that event's control. The Masters controls everything. So I think that has a lot to do with why it's so well run.
Very interesting.
So the
Yeah.
amount of so there a lot of the groundskeepers that are there for that week are volunteers
Yeah.
from all over the country. So I'll tell Adam, did you stay to the very end any day?
Yeah, we stayed to the very end. We actually got chairs and we set chairs up right behind 18 green. So on Saturday we stayed to the very end. So like we saw, I think the last thing we saw was Bryson made that putt from just off the fringe on
Nice.
Saturday afternoon. So
So the
yeah.
coolest thing is I was back. So the practice round, it got a little scattered. Like people are all around, and then caddies come back out afterwards, and they're dropping balls and rolling balls all over the green and getting different markers and stuff like that. It's really cool. Caddies, by the way, caddies. I found out caddies put way more work in.
Oh
It's
yeah.
insane. It's
Way
crazy.
more than you see during a round.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're standing there, and so everybody's done. The last group was like it was DeChambeau and somebody else. I can't remember who was with him, but they were going past 16, and we walked the course. I feel like we walked the whole course twice, but I can't remember exactly what hole it was. But there was a line of groundskeepers, a line of them. They had this like tool. If there was a divot, they would cut these perfect little spots out, cut the divot out, and they had a perfect strip of grass that would get placed right inside that divot. So when you watch the next day, you're not, and a ball rolls out onto the fairway, you're not looking at 100 divots.
Yep.
It's, I mean, it's absolutely insane how meticulous they are in that place. It,
Man.
it's crazy.
And
Did you see a squirrel?
no,
I'm telling you, there's no squirrels at Augusta. I swear to God,
No,
there's no squirrels at Augusta.
there are so many conspiracy theories. Like, for instance, one that I heard last week was, now I did see a couple birds, but a
Mhm,
lot of people think that the bird noises at Augusta are like piped in
mhm.
via exterior sound. Um, yeah, so I know exactly what you're saying though.
Yeah. I swear have not seen a squirrel, did not see a squirrel. And I had my camera out. I was taking pictures up in trees. I was hoping to find one. I thought that there's plenty of those kind of conspiracy theories. Did you go to Hooters to go see John Daly?
No, but we drove by it, and honestly, it looked like a great time.
But I'm going to tell you what, John Daly, that was the most fun I've ever had. That was one of the most fun times I've ever had in my life was hanging out at that Hooters. I I go to the bathroom. John Daly's walking with his guy to the bathroom at the same time. Gives me a little pat on the ass, says how you doing, or whatever. We're talking. We walk into the bathroom. Stands right next to me, takes a pee, walks back out as I'm peeing, hits me on the ass again. Keeps on walking and washes up, goes back out.
I was gonna
He
say it doesn't seem like he's a hand washer.
well, I don't know if he did or not. I was still peeing. But he's ripping heaters with one of my buddies, and they got a pictures where they got two heaters coming out of their ears and stuff. Like he was the coolest guy in the entire world, and talked to everybody that was there. If you wanted to talk to John Daly, he talked to you.
And he does that every day of the
Yep,
Masters.
every
Like,
day.
I think someone was telling me, I guess he either invested in or started his own alcohol brand. I'm not
Good
exactly
boy
sure.
vodka. Good boy
Yeah.
vodka, and Hooters sells it. Yeah,
Yep. And they
I had
had
quite a few of those, by the way. Quite a
when
few.
we drove by, they had like the big vodka truck just parked in the parking lot. And I think in the situation, it's like you could walk up and you could buy stuff from the truck too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's pretty cool. Anyway, so back to Augusta. Most beautiful course in the entire world. How long the first day did it take you before you stopped reaching in your pocket to grab your phone?
Honestly, I was really good about it. Like, I don't think I did it once, but I was with quite a few people, and they would not stop bringing it up. They're like, I just reached my pocket to try to take a picture of that. It is like it's a weird thing walking around without your phone, especially when
It is.
like I'm one of those people that I get out of my car, I get into my car. One of the first things I do is I pat my pockets just to
Yep.
be like, all right, wallet, phone,
Front and
keys.
back. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it's weird to pat your pocket and be like, yeah, I don't have my phone on me. But it's
Kind of
also at the same
liberating though.
time, yeah, I was gonna say it's kind of nice. It's like, I think I would challenge people like, we're so connected to our devices, but like if you could find a way to have a day where it's like you just don't have your phone on you for 10 to 12 hours, like it felt good, you know?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. My wife, we had a baseball tournament and we were there for probably 10 hours the other day. And as we pulled out of the driveway, she's like, I forgot my phone. And I'm the head coach, and I'm like, well, we're gonna be late. So we go, sorry, it is what it is. She went the whole day without her phone. I said it was one of the most relaxing days she's ever had.
Yeah. Yeah,
Not a
you have a
single,
greater
not a
appreciation
word.
for everything else that's happening, you know? And here, the crazy thing about the Masters and not having them, and some of the golfers actually talked about this. They said that the crowd is more invested, they
Yes.
pay better attention. It's also, you probably experienced this. Like, I think it might be the number one sporting event for celebrities to attend because people
Wow,
can't
that's big because the Derby's big, but I would believe it. I
yeah.
mean, yeah.
People, I mean, I could go through the list of people that I saw this past week, but like you don't have people bombarding you all day trying to get pictures and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, people will come up and they might talk to you and shake your hand or do whatever, but like, yeah, you're protected almost inside those Augusta National
Yeah,
grounds.
absolutely. Did you get a gnome?
I did not.
I didn't even
No.
try. The
No, you know
rush
what
to the front door was
I know.
insane.
You know what I did though? I bought a t-shirt with the gnome on it this year.
That a
So
boy. That
yeah,
a
that
boy.
was my plus, like, I don't like it's really convenient because you go there and you show up. And if you want to buy a bunch of stuff, which it seems like everyone who goes does, like you can literally walk out of the pro shop and take a left and go right to ship it all. So like you don't have to carry it around all day.
Yeah.
But what I did was I brought a little backpack. So I was like, I'm gonna avoid shipping it and I'll just throw everything I buy into this backpack and I'll lug it around all day and bring it home with me. So the
There you
gnome
go.
would not have fit comfortably in that backpack.
Did you get a master's chair?
Yes.
That was the first thing I did. You
Yeah.
gotta have a master's chair.
Mm.
Gotta have a master's chair. I love it. That's awesome. Dude, and it's really cool how they are. It's legit. You can go up any green. If there's no one sitting in a chair, you just sit down. You can
Yeah.
watch wherever they set it. Somebody comes up, hey man, that's my chair. You just jump up and that's
Yeah. You
where
get
they
up.
sit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's God, it is so cool. All right, so best story from the whole trip. Obviously, obviously we got actually before we do that, you got to talk about the morning you
Yeah.
found out.
So here's the thing. I knew that I was gonna get to go. All right. But my travel plans, they kind of changed drastically. So the company that I work for, 1831 Media, our parent company is a company called Synergistic, which is like a marketing company in Cincinnati. The gentleman who owns both of these companies, he's used the Masters as like a almost a thank you for our clients. So like he gets tickets every year, and he'll take clients down, fly them down, let them experience the Masters, bring them home, and sort of do that every day of the Masters. So as it turns out, this would have been Wednesday morning at like 2 a.m. He calls me and just tells me that I need to be at the airport at 6 a.m. And I guess what happened was one of the clients who was coming down on Wednesday morning, he found out late Tuesday night that they could no longer make it. So he had an open spot. So he calls me and tells me that. And like I was already excited to go the next
Sure.
day, but like I couldn't fall back asleep. I stayed up
Oh
and
yeah.
so Wednesday might have been the hardest day for me just getting around because I was running on like 2.5 hours of sleep.
Jeez.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. There's a lot of people that stay in North Carolina though. A lot of people that go to and that they'll get their Airbnb there in an hour away, 40 minutes away, 45 minutes away. And we stayed just outside of downtown Augusta. And
Yeah.
did you go into downtown Augusta at all by chance?
Yeah.
They roll the streets up at 8 p.m.
Yeah.
Legit roll them up.
There's
They
not a lot else there too.
No, there was a whiskey bar we went to or a bourbon bar kind of place, and they had to get special permission because we got there Sunday. We got there Sunday night. They had to get a special license. They can only be open on 2 Sundays a year, and they use the week before the Sunday before the Masters and the Sunday and obviously the Sunday of the
The
Masters
final round. Yeah.
as their 2 days. So we got there Sunday. We played golf on Monday, and then went to the Masters on Tuesday. That's how we did it. But
Yeah.
yeah, they rolled, dude. There was nobody out. It was 8 p.m. and there's nobody around. It was crazy.
It's a
That's funny.
special place.
Yes, it is a special place. So Wednesday practice round, and then you said Thursday and Saturday.
Yes.
Nice. So Thursday, Saturday. Um, I had a baseball tournament, so I saw nothing on Saturday. I was at the ballpark all day. Best part about Saturday.
Best part about Saturday, we posted up for a while around Amen Corner, which is just if you could let me like pick a place on this earth just to like post up in a chair, it would be right there at 11 green and 12 tee box and just watching as much stuff. But then the very end, like sitting behind 18 green, and Bryson makes this long 30-foot putt from off the green, and that crowd just erupts. And then he literally walks off to go back to the clubhouse, and it's like you're lined up on the road getting a high
Yeah.
five from it was a cool moment. Yeah.
Wow.
That was probably number one for me.
When you were there on Wednesday for the practice round, were the players engaging at all around the greens? Did
Oh yeah.
because on Tuesday they were talking to everybody. They
Yeah.
were awesome.
Yeah, actually, it's funny. On Wednesday, it just so happened one of my favorite spots that we found to post up is number seven's tee box, and it's like it's this tight tee box. It's back a little bit, like there's some trees that hang over, so there's some natural shade, and you get to see this like crazy tee shot. And we're standing there on Wednesday during the practice round, and Bryson comes through. And for a lot of these guys, they don't hit driver on that hole. It's like a 440-yard par four, but they know, hey, I can hit my 3 wood out there, my driving iron, and it's going to run out to 300. I'm going to have a wedge in. I don't need to hit driver. So it's obviously a practice round, and Bryson comes up there and he pulls a driving iron out of his bag and everyone starts to boo him. And he had so much fun with it. He was like, I'm not gonna hit driver here during the actual tournament. I can't do it during a practice round. But it was just like, to your
That-
point,
yeah.
that's those sorts of things were like they were pretty commonplace during the practice round.
They are. That was really cool. And I also didn't realize how many golf tournaments have you been to?
So really, like I used to go cover the memorial
Okay.
for the Enquire. So I think I think the Memorial and the Masters might be the only ones I've attended in
Yeah.
person.
So
Yeah.
I'd never been to one. I thought a practice round was just they went and played the golf course. I didn't realize that
No.
they hit like a couple balls here, ball here. They didn't even aim at the holes that were on the green. And then they
No.
once they got to the green, they all aim for the exact same spot. It's Sunday's pin placement. They
Yeah.
all aim for that during the practice round. And then they go out there and throw a bunch of these little black circles out, and those are like the makeshift holes, and they putt at those
Yeah.
and putt for about 4 or 5 minutes. It's a pretty cool little deal. I never knew that.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
No, and they're like they're gonna hit shots out of bunkers just to
Yeah.
see where they want to land balls and stuff like that. It's like it's very cool how they like the different ways that people approach preparing for a tournament. And to your point, like they know from previous years where the pin locations are on every green. So when they get to the green, it's like they might play initially to the hole that's cut in the green. And then, as Chris said, their caddy will take these little black circles and he'll throw them down on the green in different places. And then they'll just hit putts to all the from different spots because they know, hey, there's a really good chance there's going to be a pin right here. It might be on Friday, it might be on Saturday, it could be on Sunday. So it's like they're gathering as much information as possible.
I watched Sergio on the back of a green. He put his ball on the back of the, or on the like just past the green, put one of those things right at the basically at the very back side of the green, and he's chipping up this hill at this thing and trying to get it to run up and try to stop it up there. And he must have hit 8 balls and got one to stop right around where he actually wanted it. And he's looking at his caddy and they're talking. He tried to run one up. He tried to go high. He was doing all kinds of stuff. It was really cool to see how they use the course on those. I had more. Don't get me wrong. I think watching the actual round would be great. But like when I went to Valhalla, that's last year as well. I really enjoyed watching them, like watching how they practice. I thought that was,
Yeah.
as a golfer or a guy who tries to golf, I thought that was one of the coolest things to see. Personally, I don't know.
You know,
No,
go ahead.
I love it too. Like I'm kind of with you, right? Like the actual round, you there's a few ways you can approach it. Like you can post up in a certain spot and just watch a ton of groups come through. You can try to follow a certain person, but for the practice rounds, you can bounce around and be like, oh, let's hang out at this green and just see what happens. And yeah, there's way more freedom of movement, I feel like, in the
Yeah.
practice rounds.
Very cool.
Yeah.
You know what I would do if I was doing the practice round? I would have my caddy just with the black circle, and I just close my eyes and hit it, and have him run after it and throw a circle down. Like right before, you know what I mean?
This guy's good. This
Never
guy's
miss.
good.
Never miss. Never miss. That's good. Yeah, dude, the caddies at the end is really cool because some of these tournaments they can use the range finders, some they can't, but like they'll be out there on the practice round at Augusta. They're using the range finder. They're by themselves, just walking around after their player's already done playing. Walk the whole course, rolling balls on a I don't know. We've already talked about that, but I just think that whole thing it's one of the coolest experiences I've ever had in my life by far.
Yeah.
And congratulations. That's awesome that you got to go.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. Yeah, for me too.
All right. Enough of the Masters. Congratulations to Rory, career Grand Slam, one of
Yeah.
6 to ever do it. Um, yeah, good for him. Let's get into some Xavier basketball. What do you think, Bub?
Yeah, let's do it. It's been a while.
I guess the
A
first
lot's
question is
happened since then.
quite a bit has happened since we talked, bud. I guess my first question is there going to be a Little Ricky podcast?
Well, I think, if we had our say, there would be. I think there's some optimism. Obviously, like his priority right now, that's not even a
No.
thought in his head, right? He's worried about his roster. And to his credit, I think they're doing a really good job putting together a roster that can come in and play right away. But I think he understands the value. And it's funny when I got to meet him, I think he's close with Sean, like they've run in the same circles and things like that. So he, he basically brought it up unprompted that he was a fan of the podcast. So I think one of the things that we're never going to get away from is like our company is forever tied to Xavier, right? We're owned by a Xavier grad, a Xavier donor. 3 of our 5 employees graduated from Xavier. We started making content around Xavier. So I think the hope would be that we're always going to have something Xavier related that we're doing.
That's awesome. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, so let's go to the beginning before we get to the all in, the end of the all docu series. Thank you. I'm so bad about words today. The all in docu series. Before we get to that, the Sean Miller deal. Obviously, you were with the team in where do they play Texas?
Milwaukee.
Where do they play Texas? At?
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
Well, they played Texas in Dayton, and then they
That's it.
played
Texas and
Illinois.
Dayton. Then they were in
Yeah.
Milwaukee for to play Illinois. So you're
Yeah.
there. Was there any idea that something was going to happen after that game? Did any of you guys have any ideas?
No, no. But here's what I will say is like I've gotten this question quite a bit. This is the first time that I've gotten it publicly. Like the Sean came back to Xavier for 3 years. His first year back, there were teams that wanted him. His second year here, there were other teams that wanted him. So like I wasn't shocked at that point. I was kind of like, okay, every year that he's here at Xavier, you're going to hear about other programs that want Sean Miller. So
Sure.
from that standpoint, it was just kind of like, oh, I've heard this before. I don't think anyone expected that it was coming or that it was going to happen as quickly as it did.
So I have nothing against Sean Miller. Nothing at all. The guys, I mean, the state of college basketball the way it is. I mean, was I bummed that he left? Absolutely, I was bummed he left.
Yeah, me
But the
too.
state of college basketball and the way it is, if you're not a big state school and you don't have that big fund behind you, it's going to be very difficult to put together an elite team year after year after year after year. I totally understand that whole deal. And Xavier did him a solid and got him back into it, and he did Xavier a solid by giving us a couple good little runs, right? So
Yeah.
not I'm not I was disappointed, obviously, but makes total sense. Makes total
Mhm.
sense. So how did you get the news?
I think I got the news the way everyone else did on Twitter.
Oh man,
When
old boy didn't even shoot you a text or nothing, like the like a
well,
little
we
little
talked,
podcast text group or something.
we talked after the fact.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was kind of like the way that it moved, and then obviously it got leaked the day before it was actually final. So I think that complicated the situation where you can imagine, like, if you're thinking about doing it and then you see reports that like, oh, it's a done deal, whether or not it was at that point, I don't know. But um, I think he probably felt like, you know what, I'm just not going to talk to anybody about this. But
Sure,
yeah, I
of
think
course.
on Sunday, the day before, when you see people like Jeff Goodman and John Rothstein and Jeff Borzella and like high name, high level college basketball reporters who are saying something,
Mhm.
it's at that point the writing's basically on the wall.
Sure.
So yeah.
Uh, Good.
Are you comfortable talking about anything that you talked to Sean about after that?
Um, I mean, really, our conversations were more about like him showing gratitude and
Good.
appreciation for what we were able to accomplish as a team, really. And, I think one of the things that is like unavoidable in all of this is like the the real human being aspect that comes into play. Like a lot of times, like a guy plays for your team, a guy coaches your team, and you just assume that like, oh, this is gonna work forever, right? Um, but the reality is like we're three guys sitting here right now. If someone came to us and they said, we're gonna pay you significantly more money and we're gonna give you more resources for you to do your job better, like we'd be crazy not to at least entertain it and not to really do it. So I think like I understand it. And then the other thing is like with the way college basketball is these days, you think about the guy that Sean is replacing at Texas, who in 3 years went to an Elite Eight and two more NCAA tournaments, and he got fired. So it's like it can go the other way too, like
Mm-hmm.
people want you to stay somewhere forever. Sometimes that place doesn't want you forever. So
Yeah.
it's this fine line between, I don't know, the way fans see the world and the way that it really works.
So as I've grown older, right, like there was a point in my life where I would be really pissed off about something like this. How could you do that? We gave you a second chance, all this stuff like that. You
Yeah,
hear it all. You've heard plenty of it. It's been all over the place.
it
As
has.
I've grown older, especially in like the sporting world with like with wide receivers or quarterbacks or anybody, and it's like, and people get so upset about contracts that they sign. Can you, oh, he's getting paid $400 million, he should be doing what in what world would you not take that?
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
he's already making this much. What's another $100 million? Another $100 million? That's generational wealth, man. You're
Yeah.
taking care of your family. This is a human being. I'm a man. If my and people that hold out, like when people hold out, they'll be like, "Oh, well, he's not being a team player." Hold on a second. You got four people at your position that are making more money than you, and you're way better than them. If that was
Hmm.
happening at your job, wouldn't you want to make more money because people that you're not as good of? Well, it's not the same. Not yeah, it's exactly the same, just on a bigger
Yeah.
scale. So
No,
the,
you're right.
the older I've gotten, the human part of it, the fact that they're not just a face on a TV, of a sporting event is, I think, which brings me to the All In docu series. Got the word right.
Nice.
Um, I think you guys do an awesome job of getting the human aspect of all these players. You see
Yeah.
all this stuff now out on commercials about, you know, just because you made a bet on a college game, don't tweet at these people. It's not, they didn't do anything wrong. They're just living their lives. You made the bet, all that stuff. What you guys have done is taken just a guy that plays basketball, and you get to see them go through a journey, especially through injuries and everything like that. Unbelievable what you guys have done. I think it's amazing. I hope, is there a chance that you're going to do this again next year?
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's a very real chance, right? It might not be the exact same style that we did this year, where it's like 9 episodes, you're releasing them during the season, maybe like every 2 weeks or so. It was hard. It was difficult. It was like, I think from the time the season started until it ended, me and Josh, the guy who directed and edited the docuseries, like I bet you we didn't get between us 10 days off. And it's like it was just like nonstop all day, every day. But I think there's a world where like this could become like a consistent storytelling device that, you've seen other programs sort of dive into. I think the thing that I'm most proud of is there were two Vice college basketball docu-series this year. One was St. John's, the other one was Arkansas. And if you watch those, and I would encourage people to watch them, they're very well done. But they're really docu-series about Rick Pitino and John Calipari.
Sure.
You don't really learn that much about the other people around those programs, about the players. So we made a really conscious decision early on that it was like, this is not a docu-series about Sean Miller. Uh, and it's about everyone. Like the people that are going to make this season, whatever it is, those are the people that we want to highlight. So it was really about like incorporating as many voices as we could into the story. And I think that's the thing that I'm most proud of is that we were able to do that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the hire? What do you think about Mr. Patino? Do we have a
I
nickname for
love
him yet? Is it Little Richie, Little Richard, Little Rick?
I think that that'll probably work its way out. I haven't heard anything or seen anything stick necessarily at this point, but I really like the hire. I think to a certain degree, right? Like you probably, if you're a Xavier fan, you were in one of two camps. You were either in a camp that thought, oh, Sean Miller's going to be here for the next 10 years. He's going to retire as our head coach. Or you were in a camp that thought, man, I don't think like, you know, Sean might not be here forever. Like, who's going to be the next guy? And from that standpoint, I think it might be best case scenario that Sean left when he did, because now you get to start on the new thing. And for Xavier, it's like it's a revolutionary change. This has been a program that's hitched its wagon to like this coaching lineage, that guys who have all come from the same circle, all cut from the same cloth. And now you've got a new voice, a new vision. You've stepped outside of that circle. And this is the guy who now can put his fingerprints all over this program. So he's obviously highly motivated. I think the thing that I found most interesting when I went to his introductory press conference was one of the things that Greg Christopher, Xavier's athletic director, liked the most was that Richard had failed. He was at Minnesota. He was young. That's a really hard job to be successful at. And he did have some success there, but ultimately it didn't work out. And then to see how he rebounded from that, how he recovered from it at New Mexico. So I think you've got a guy that like he knows to a certain extent he's always going to live in the shadow of his father. Excuse me. But
Mhm.
I do think that there's like some power to that almost, where it's like he wants to make his own way. He doesn't want to get to the end of his career and have everyone be like, "Oh, that's Rick Pitino's kid." No, he wants people to say, "Man, that Richard Pitino, man, he can coach." So I think Xavier right now they have someone who's young and super hungry and super motivated, and those are three things that you want in a coach, especially in 2025 in college basketball.
That's my biggest thing. My dad, first thing he said to me was, I don't know. He said, I don't know how I feel right now. And I was like, I get it. We went off. The only time we've ever went away from the lineage was Thad Matta.
Yeah,
And, other than that, it was, Skip was under Pete and Sean was under Skip and Chris was under both of them and
yeah,
Travis was under Chris. And, we found out that the way college basketball is going, it would have been the 15 years ago, Dante Jackson's the coach of this team.
mhm,
15 years ago. We're not 15 years ago anymore. You everything you said about him failing and been other places. This is new college basketball. If we're going to make a change and we're going to start something new, this is the time to do it because it is a whole new world that we are stepping into. So I couldn't agree more. The longer I'm going into this, the more excited I've kind of gotten. We're at least going to get two big games on some special night every year because whenever
for
those two
sure.
play each other, it's going to be huge news and the prominent game. But um, yeah,
Speaking of that, there was before Richard Pitino got hired, it sounded like Chris Mack was probably going to be coming back. At
Yeah.
least everything I heard. Did you hear anything during that time about Mack almost definitely being here, or maybe what happened that made it not so? that put Richard Pitino ahead of him, or did you hear
Yeah,
anything that maybe everybody else didn't?
I definitely know, from what I heard, that Mac was very interested and there was mutual interest, right? Like, obviously, winningest coach all time at Xavier, what he did here as the head coach, winning the Big East, getting a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament, going to the Elite Eight, all those things made him a valuable, like, person in Xavier's eyes. I honestly think, like, I think there was some apprehension about recycling another former head coach, right? When it didn't necessarily work out with Sean, where it's like, man, are we really just gonna keep going and going back to guys who already left us once? Like, is that really what we want to do? Or do we want to maybe go this new way? So I think that's probably the biggest thing that happened and how all this shook out.
That makes sense. And I mean, you guys were kind of talking about it, like Richard Pitino is, what is he, like 40, 41 or something like that? Is he
I think he's 42.
42? So
Yeah.
he has
God, he's
so
so
much.
old.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say he has so much experience
Same.
being that young too.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
coached in the
He
Big
does.
Ten. And he coached, New
Yep.
Mexico's, a big player in their conference. It's yeah, for him to be that young, and of course he grew up around the game constantly anyway.
Well, yeah. I mean, he coached under, he was an
Yeah,
assistant coach under, number one, his dad,
yeah,
and Billy
Yep.
Donovan. I mean, good God.
Yeah.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
about as much experience as you can get from a guy that age.
Yeah.
He's got a real pedigree already. And I think he got his first head coaching job when he was 30 years old, which is so crazy.
Mhm.
But yeah, he knows college basketball. Like, you're not getting someone who does not know how this all works and what it takes to be successful. Like, if anyone knows that, it's Richard Pitino, right? He's gotten to see it from day one. So I'm optimistic. I think especially like this first year, it's gonna be hard to get a good, I don't care how much money you have. I don't care how good of a head coach you are. Like, when you legitimately have to bring in like 12, 13 new guys to fill a roster who have never played together, who don't know each other, he's gonna find out this summer who plays well with who does what well, who needs to work on what. Like, it's gonna be a challenge in year one, right? But like, one of the things that I love about his approach so far is he's going after guys that have multiple years of eligibility left. So the idea would be, hey, we're going to field this roster in year one, and we're going to do everything in our power to be competitive and win basketball games. But like, at the very least, in year two, we're going to have a lot of guys back who have now got a year under their belts together, who know how to play together, and I think that will be beneficial in the long run for these guys.
Yeah. Nice. Um, well, to get these guys, you have to, I mean, you gotta know how much they're getting paid.
Yeah.
They all want to know how much they're getting paid. They all want to know, that's a big part of the new recruiting process, right? First thing they want to know is, are they going to start? Second thing they want to know is how much they're going to make, or maybe it's the opposite of that. Maybe it's vice versa. I don't even know.
It could be.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, talk to me. There's been this talk about what do they call it, the collective or something like that, and they're trying to cap it. And
Yeah,
then there's some rev sharing that's possible out there. It's super confusing for me.
it is. It's very
Have you
confusing.
dug deep into any of this and
Yeah.
kind of come out with like I say, put it in hillbilly for me?
Yeah, let me see if I can help you out, Chris.
I need a hillbilly
So
accent from you too. No,
it's really interesting because this is happening right now. Like, right now, there is this house settlement court case that's being argued and will be decided on here, I don't know, soon.
They were
But
hoping last week.
yeah, they were hoping last week. I think that I saw some reports today about some stuff that had come out, but basically, like, if this passes, and I think the expectation is that it will pass, it will do a few things. Number one is, like, it will be the death of these NIL collectives that universities have. So it will no longer be a scenario where your donors and your fans are contributing to the collective, which then the collective pays your players. So if you sign a guy and you say, hey, you're going to make $300,000 this year, they would be paid by the collective for doing their NIL stuff. Um, if this passes, that collective goes bye-bye, it's no more. And what would fill its place would be a system where the universities can now directly pay the players, but they have a NIL pool every year. It's like a salary cap, but it applies to all of your sports. So that number would be 20.5 million. So at a place like Ohio State, what you're seeing some of these big time football schools say, oh, well, when this passes, right? Like football is our bread and butter, it's our big money maker. We're going to devote the vast majority of that cap money to football. So 20.5 million, maybe it's 16 million, maybe it's 17 million. That leaves you with 4.5, 3.5 million for your other sports. So in some of these cases, like if Ohio State wants to do that, they're not going to have as much as, say, a Big East school will to devote to their men's basketball team. Now, what's really interesting is like if you think that all of these big time SEC, Big 10, Big 12 schools with football programs are not going to figure out a way to circumvent this or to apply enough pressure where it's going to stay like this. Like, I don't see any world. I'll give you a prime example. Place like Ohio State. Let's say they only have $3 million that they can devote to their men's basketball team because they spent the rest of it on their football team. There are things what is known as a real NIL deal, which I'm sure if you watched the NCAA tournament, you saw commercials with Cooper Flag in them. All right. That's not coming from Duke's collective. That's him earning an actual contract and a sponsorship deal that goes above and beyond any kind of purview from the NCAA. As like a student athlete, he can go out and he can find as many of those deals as they want. And that's not money that's coming from Duke or a collective. So the workaround for these big time football schools is pretty simple. If you got a guy in Columbus who owns a really successful company and he's a big time Ohio State donor, and they say, man, we're out of NIL money. These big places, they're just going to find real NIL deals for these players. It might be, hey, this guy owns a buffalo wing joint. You're going to go there, eat some wings. They're going to film it, and they're going to pay you whatever we need them to pay you. So it's like the idea that like that these schools are going to be handcuffed or they're going to have a hard time figuring this out. No, I don't think that's the case. But
Yeah, it just comes down to your biggest donors that were donating to that, like for Xavier, the final 2% or
yeah,
whatever all these are. Everybody probably has their own name for them. All it is the biggest donors to those now just take that money and say and talk to the coach or what they have now, the athletic or the what are the general managers that all these colleges are hiring. They talk to them and say, "Here's the deal. I have $3 million that I'll give to you to you just send me players. We'll do a commercial. We'll do
yeah,
a YouTube whatever and we'll write the contract up. I have this much money to give you. You figure out how you want to split it between your kids."
yeah. Because once you gave these players the right to earn money based on their name, image, and likeness, like you can't then police it and say, "Oh, well, this guy owns a car dealership and he's going to give you $250,000 for shooting a 30-second car commercial for his business."
Yeah.
That's a real NIL deal. Like there's nothing you can do to stop those. So, but what I will say is like the Big East schools are going to have like a real advantage early on here as this sort of shakes loose because once the House settlement passes, any of these schools that have money in their collective, like that money can no longer be used. it has to come from the university, and all of that is going to be double and triple checked. So the Big East not having football, they're going to have more money, because the other thing that we didn't talk about is this rev share thing that's going to happen, which is like the schools are going to get a cut from the NCAA based on like the NCAA making money based off of the student athletes. So this rev share will be like every conference is going to get money that will then get divvied up evenly amongst their schools. And that money is money that they can use for their NIL. So, yeah, I hope that you hillbillies understand
I think I got it.
that.
Did he
No,
say rev them up?
He said rev them up.
Well, we revving up.
That's really good information. I didn't.
It is.
I hadn't really even read anything about it, but that's now I don't have
heard-
to, because that's
Yeah, I heard Gottlieb
Yeah.
talking about it, and he just kind of got real vague with it. I'm sure there's only so much he can say being a college basketball coach. But
Yeah.
maybe he just doesn't understand it. He needs Adam to call him up. And
I'm available. Yeah,
That's right.
I'm
Call Doug
available.
Gottlieb, will you?
yeah, between what is he, 3 to 6 or something like that, every night, every afternoon. Anyway, no, man, that's huge. And I didn't even realize. So that's one thing I didn't realize, that money was capped for the whole school. I thought it was capped per sport, but no, that's a per school cap. That's huge for the Big East to start. Why is Sean Miller leaving, man? He's about to get all kinds of money. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. No, that's so that's pretty neat little deal. Very excited to see what Lil Richard can do for us, and how he steps up. He's already made some good signings from what I understand. What do you know about the guys that are here? Anybody that actually stayed, and who we signed?
Yeah, so Roddy Anderson is the one guy who stuck around.
That's good little interview with him, quick little interview with him in episode number 9. He's letting everybody know he's staying. Half the Xavier fans probably didn't know exactly who he was, but he was happy
Exactly.
to be here still.
And it's funny, if you're on Twitter, your listeners are on Twitter, they can go follow Roddy Anderson. He changed his Twitter profile picture to Mark Wahlberg in Lone Survivor. He's the last man standing. But I think, like, in my opinion, Roddy was a guy that I was super excited about even this past season, just watching him in practice every day. Like, he's a competitor, he's tough. He put a ton of time in on getting his jump shot better, but he will be, in my opinion, one of the fastest players in college basketball next year. So he'll be a great guy to push the pace. And then, like I said, like, they went out, they got this guy named All Right, freshman of the year last year at Valparaiso. What was really interesting was, we talked earlier about being at the Masters last weekend. And I can't remember what day I was there, but it was like, I think Xavier got 3 commitments in one day. And it was like, I got on my phone when I got back to the car, and I was like, oh wow, they did a lot of damage today. But I think the big one right now is the guy from FAU, Trey Carroll. A really talented, high level scorer, tough. He's got size. They got a guy that I like from Montana, a guard, like a combo guard, who's 6'5", and then they've got some size already. So, and here's the thing: it's like, I don't even know how many scholarships they have available right now, but like, they still have more work to do. And I saw something today or yesterday that was basically like, the players who entered the transfer portal, there are still like 80 something percent left who haven't found a new team yet. So there are still a ton of guys out there. So I think they've done a really good job so far, and there will be more work to be done.
Big ups to Xavier for, once Miller was gone, they didn't drag their feet. They went out and got a coach right away. And big ups to Lil Richard for hitting the ground running, man.
Yeah,
that's right.
Hitting the ground running. That's awesome.
I wish college basketball started right now. I wish next year started already. It's kind of exciting.
I'm with you. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting year. man, I was just in my head thinking about this money deal. I mean, the SEC has like think about team but like Arkansas, who's got well, maybe not Arkansas. Let's go to, I mean, any LSU's or
Auburn,
Auburn's.
Alabama.
Auburn, that's a perfect one. Auburn.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of like the baseball side of it because those SEC schools they get the best talent in college baseball. In the way that they're doing it now is they're going into the junior colleges and pulling it kind of like how the transfer portal, pulling out of the
yeah,
transfer portal in basketball, but they're going to JUCOs and they're telling seniors in high school that they love to go to this school. We're going to look at you in 2 years and we're going to pull you over back over to Auburn to play your last year, play one more year with us or maybe two. But I mean, that's a lot there. That's a lot of money that goes into those baseball schools, man. That SEC baseball is huge and it is a lot of money in baseball down there. So you got to split, Auburn's got to split all that between football, basketball, who obviously they're Final Four team,
yeah,
and then you got to split it between your baseball team, Florida, same thing with Florida,
Mhm.
yeah.
phenomenal basketball team, huge college tradition, baseball tradition. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Will do. And what you're seeing right now is a lot of the schools that you mentioned, a lot of these schools that have football that are SEC, Big Ten, Big 12, like up until the moment when this house settlement passes, they're trying to get their guys signed and paid because they can still use that money that's in their collective at the moment. Like any money that they have in there, they want to spend it
Yeah.
before this thing gets passed because then it's like you're grandfathered in at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There you go.
wild times,
Oh,
college
man.
athletics.
Wild, wild, wild west.
Hmm.
It's the wild, wild west.
Yes, it
Hopefully to
is.
be capped out soon.
Yeah.
At
Yep.
some point, we're gonna hit it like a tipping point where shit's gonna break or someone's going to step in and put up some like real guardrails. I think that's what this house settlement is partially about. But yeah, as I said earlier, there
But
will
has
be
the NCAA ever
workarounds.
been? That's never the NCAA's never been able to do that. Every time they try to put something up, somebody fights it, and what have they lost? They've lost something ridiculous. Like the last 25 times they've been to court, they've lost. I heard something
Yeah.
like that.
Mm.
Well,
Uh,
it wouldn't be the NCAA policing this. It would be like the federal government stepping in, I think, which you can
okay.
imagine how that would go.
Pretty serious.
Yeah. All right.
Man, yeah, we would sit here and talk to you for 3 hours, Adam, but we're gonna let you go because we told you we weren't gonna keep you long and we failed you again on that
No,
in that regard.
I didn't even notice. It's a breeze.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, we appreciate you very much for taking the time to come on with us.
No, but
We're
I
happy.
gotta. I'll leave you with this.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
I know you guys do your Mount Rushmore. I think I don't know if we've done this already, but maybe the next time I come on, we put this in our back pocket. I said earlier that the Masters is my favorite sporting event that I've ever attended. So like Mount Rushmore of like what could be like your top four if you could pick like four sporting events to attend at some point in your life.
Mm.
I don't know that we've done anything. We've done like the Mount Rushmore of uh baseball stadiums we've been to and just or we just did stadiums in general we've been to.
Mhm.
We've done different things like that, but I don't know that we've ever done just straight up
Events.
events.
Yeah.
Best events to go to.
Yeah.
World
Yeah.
Series, NBA Finals,
I mean, World
Masters,
Cup,
Final Four,
Olympics.
uh
Mhm.
what is it, the Grand Prix or whatever one of those things are if
The
you're into like
Monaco
NASCAR.
Grand Prix,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
That's
I
good.
like that. So we're gonna hold on to that for the next
Yeah.
time that you come on. We will
Let's put it on
it
the
is
back burner.
so the way this podcast ends every night is every Wednesday night or Tuesday night or Thursday night, whichever day we end up doing it on. We end the podcast going, so Mount Rushmore for next week. And we're looking around the room at different things. We're never prepared for it to make the next Mount Rushmore. So we like there for a while. I think we did one of my favorite ones was What was the one we just did with the names? What was her name? Not Anne Frank, but
Helen Keller.
Yeah, we did Mount Rushmore of Helens.
Ellen's.
Yeah,
All right.
like this is what it's coming down to these days.
Yeah,
It's
we're
coming
out
down.
of ideas.
It's coming down pretty bad. But
I'll tell you what,
no, that is a good one.
I'd have Helen Mirren online for sure.
There you
Yeah,
go.
we talked
The
about her.
actress.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yep.
Yep. So anyway, okay, we're gonna keep that in the bank. Adam's got it in the notes.
Got
That's
it.
in the bank for next time you're on. Because I don't even
I'll
think
be
we told
ready.
you what this week's was. Usually we do that.
No,
What is
you
this?
didn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is this
Um,
week's?
Windows 95 games.
Yes, Windows 95 games. Actually, that would have been a good one for you. That's about your
Well,
time frame. Getting into
what do
computers.
I got here? Like Minesweeper?
Yep,
Would that be one?
Minesweeper. Yep, that's it. Solitaire, Free Cell,
Yeah, dude.
all the good ones.
That's
All
funny.
right.
Anyway, all right, Adam, we're gonna let you go. Before you leave, how do people follow you on the tweet box and all that stuff? Best way to get a hold of you.
Yeah. My handle is it's just Adam J. Baum, Baum. Yeah, we got some cool stuff coming that I think people will like. Obviously, like as I said earlier, we're always gonna be tied to Xavier. We're hopefully always gonna be doing Xavier stuff, but we do have some stuff outside of Xavier that we're also working on that will be coming down the pipeline here soon that I think I'm pretty excited about. So yeah.
Awesome.
Good. Is it sports stuff mostly or just
Yeah.
anything? Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna watch
one
that.
of the things, one of the things that we've talked about, right, is like, now that we've executed and we've done a docu-series, like you could potentially do stuff that's outside of sports, right? And I think that'll be cool stuff to explore in time. But yeah, the immediate stuff on the docket is all sports stuff. Yeah.
Love that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I love a documentary about sports. I'll try to watch every one I can.
absolutely.
I'm in the middle of the Red Sox, last year's Red Sox one, which
I haven't
who
started
cares
that
about
yet.
that team? But I mean,
Yeah.
I'm watching it.
Watch. You're not even a golf guy. You would love Full Swing.
I've heard good things.
You would
Full
love.
swing school.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. All right, Adam. Well, 1831 Media, Adam J. Baum on the tweet box, and yeah, my man. We appreciate you coming on as always. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate the invite. I'm glad we got to make this happen.
Me too, brother.
Yes,
Me
sir.
too. Me too. All right, you be good and
right,
have fun
boys.
waking up early.
Thanks, man. Have a good night, guys.
Too. See ya. Oh man.
Adam Baum.
The best.
I keep calling him Baum. Baum. Adam
It's
Baum.
Baum.
It is Baum. I said
Baum.
it right?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Because I never know if I'm saying it right. I've asked him 3 times on this podcast how to say it.
He just said it.
I know. And then I don't pay attention. And I said it right then.
Yeah, if you said Baum, then yeah,
Yeah,
because
so-
I wasn't paying attention either.
Huge. Dude, Adam is always one of the best guests that we can ever have on this thing. He
Yeah.
very eloquent, man. My dude.
Oh yeah.
My dude is a speech. I think I get a little nervous around him. I don't know how to use words anymore. Struggled at
we
the
both
beginning.
struggle with that as we're recording at
Yes.
midnight all the time.
I used to write out an introduction for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And the older my kids get and the more busy I am during the day,
Yeah.
when we have a guest on, I don't write that out. And then what happened at the very beginning of this podcast happened, where I just start saying words that don't go together when I introduce somebody. Anyway,
No, that was great.
Yeah.
That was excellent.
Yeah. Big ups to Adam. I guess we'll take we're gonna take the Sean Miller bobblehead here. We're gonna take him. And I'm gonna have Adam go put him up with the bobbleheads up top. There's a Peter Gillen up there somewhere. Just sit him right in front of Homer. Nobody wants to see Homer Bailey.
Nope.
Yeah, there you go. Good to go.
Right on.
All right, he's up on the shelf. Can't wait to get my little Richard,
Yeah. They might have one the first year.
little Ricky, little Richard.
I feel like he would be insulted if he heard any of those, but yeah, I don't
Why?
know. Little? I don't know.
Lil.
Yeah.
That's totally different.
It's people say that, but it's not. But
It's an endearing term for so many rappers.
yeah, for rappers, not real people. I mean,
I feel like they're real. They're just fake at the same time.
yeah. I don't know. Whatever I don't know. I think he's just gonna want to be Richard Pitino, I think. But
All right.
anyway.
I
We have a
kinda
Mount
like
Rushmore in a comedy talk
Little
about it,
Ricky.
though.
I kind of like Little Ricky.
Mm.
All right, it doesn't matter.
I don't
All
think
right.
you would like it, but maybe.
That's
You
okay.
never know.
Yeah. All right, Adam. Let's start off with da-da-da-da, Windows 95 um, games.
Yeah.
Very excited to hear what you have to say about this. What'd you come up with, bub?
Well, what I came up with was it was hard to tell doing the research on it, like what was actually a Windows 95 game and what was a little before, a little after, what
Yeah.
was just Windows stuff.
Right.
Pretty hard to tell. I found something, I think it was on Wikipedia, where it actually had like listed all the games and then like had columns with check marks on like when it came out, under which iteration of
Okay. Yeah.
Windows or whatever. I, w- that chart had only 4 games on it. It was like Solitaire,
Free Cell,
Free Cell, and
Minesweep.
maybe Minesweeper, and then something else that I didn't even know about, I think. Or
Wait a minute, 3D Pinball wasn't on there?
no, that came out, I think, just a little after that. But here's the thing, because that was the case, I tried to I put a few on there that might not exactly be Windows 95, but were really close.
Okay. Okay.
So I did have Solitaire on there, which was a
Absolutely.
Windows 95.
Yeah.
I know Free Cell was on. I think Free Cell was on Windows 95 maybe, but
Free Cell was hard.
yeah, I got into Spider Solitaire for a while.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Spider
Okay.
Solitaire. I think that came out after Windows 95, but not too long after. I put 3D Pinball on there, Space Cadet, by the way, / Space Cadet, right?
Yeah, that I thought it said 1995 next to that.
Did it? See, I didn't think that was on the list under 95, but anyway, there were different lists, so who knows? I don't know.
Yep.
So I'll put Solitaire, I'll put 3D Pinball, I'll put Spider Solitaire, and then I didn't see this on any lists, but I swear Tetris was on one of the, wasn't it? Was Tetris not
I don't remember playing Tetris on the computer.
really?
No.
I feel like I mostly just played it on the computer.
I played a ton of pinball
Yeah,
and
same.
Minesweep. I had Minesweeper down.
Yeah, I never played Minesweeper really.
I loved that game.
Not much anyway.
You know what Minesweeper reminded me of?
So,
Reminded me of kind of like Sudoku.
okay.
Because it'd say 2. It means out of these 6 spots around this number, 2 of them are bombs, right? And it's kind of like, all right, I've got 4 of these numbers. Well, out of all these spaces left, it can only be these 3 things. I don't know why I said that, but that's just kind of what it reminds me of.
It makes you use the ticker.
You do the big like 24 by 24 one, and you're like, I got 2 blocks left. I got 2 blocks left. I got to make it's a 50-50 chance.
Yeah.
And you hit that bomb, and you've been sitting at that thing for like 15 minutes. Oh, it's the worst feeling in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. I never played that.
Have you ever lost on the first click?
I don't remember at all.
I don't think you could.
Oh.
I forgot. As I said that, I remembered you said you never played it.
I
So,
didn't. Yeah, I didn't really.
Nah, the
play it.
first click, you never die on the first click. So you click somewhere, and then the pod is made up.
Oh, okay. Okay. Then I'm gonna go number 4. I'm gonna go Ski Free.
Ski free. Yes, that's a good one.
Ski Free. You skied down this mountain. You had to use the arrows, I
Yep.
think, to turn a little bit.
Yep.
And the abominable snowman or
Yeah,
whatever
man.
would come
Yep,
down and eat
yep.
you. And...
I'm gonna go with ski free as well.
Nice.
I'm taking Free Cell off.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Ski Free, Solitaire, Minesweep, and Pinball.
Very nice.
Yeah, I mean we only had about 7 to choose from, so
Yeah. Yeah. Depending on the list
if
you look
that,
at. Yeah.
if that, yeah.
Yeah. Those were all good. Those were all good games. Spent plenty of time playing those things.
Yeah.
And
Start programs, games,
Yeah.
and then you choose which one you want.
That's right.
And then you got the like Windows 99 and you hit games and it was like there was like 15 of them and you're like, "Oh my god, this thing's got so many games."
Yeah. Yeah, most of them you never even played, but
Sim City. I saw Sim City on one of the lists, but that was
Yeah.
didn't come with Windows 95, but it was
Yeah.
one that you could do on Windows 95. That was always a good one.
It did get me thinking about all the other, like the ones that were way before Windows 95 and
Mm-hmm.
some of them that were after. That Ninja game that we played at
Oh
the
my
Edwards house all
God,
the
that
time.
Ninja game was the
It was
best.
awesome. California games
Oh,
was so
California
good.
games. Rollerblading
Yeah.
on California games.
Yeah. You
Was
got to
a-
jump over the crack,
Gotta
man.
jump over the crack because if you don't, you are wiping out.
Yep.
Wiping
Yep.
out. Gotta
And
jump over the crack.
the frisbee one where you got to run a long way
And
his hands are just down here and you have to time it so that the frisbee comes down and hits the hands and then it goes up and he
yep,
catches it.
yep.
Weird. Um,
California games, man. That's what they do in California.
yeah, I guess so.
They toss the
Ninja.
frisbee as far as they can and go catch it.
Yeah. Did you ever play you had to get the disc for it and load it on your computer, but is a trivia game. You don't know Jack?
You don't know
Remember You Don't
Jack?
Know
Are you
Jack?
kidding? That started at the Edwards house too.
It did?
That was
I
at the
thought it was.
At the Fenton house. I remember they had the You Don't Know Jack
Yes.
like expansion thing. Oh my God, that dude was so mean to you. The
Yeah.
announcer guy was so mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, You Don't Know Jack definitely played You Don't Know Jack. That was
Yeah.
good. And then they came out with a bunch of different flavors of it and all that. It was yeah.
Mhm.
You Don't Know Jack was a good one.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's our Mount Rushmore of Windows 95 games.
I like it. Well done.
Yes, sir. All right. Eliza Schlesinger. I think I always say Schlesinger. She said it Schlesinger. So now I know for sure.
I'm glad you listened.
Yeah. A different animal.
Yeah, different animal. Okay. I'll let you I guess
I went first.
okay,
Yeah, you
let's
go for
talk.
it. Go for it.
Okay, so Eliza is very I would say she's very polished. Her jokes are put together the exact way she wants them, her timing, her everything, every word, every tone, everything I feel like is as polished as any comedian can be, as well as any of the good, as well as the best ones are. However, man, you know, when we talk about like I like some of the old Iliza Shlesinger the Eliza jokes. Um and I still found myself laughing. I caught a couple giggles here. I caught some good, some out loud ones. Uh it got a little preachy for me, man. You know, we've been talking about this with some of these where you know, you earned it. It's your stage now. People are going to watch you, right? You've got your listeners, you've got your following, you got who you this is your stage, this is your platform. Do what you want to do with it. And some people get a little preachy, some people get a little too much pat me on the back. Um it got a little preachy for me. And then when she was talking about like overweight people and ugly people and all this stuff like that, and kept saying we, and meanwhile you talking about how you just had your second kid, you're in a crop top with your abs out and a pair of pants that like are completely see through, and you're talking we. Don't. I
Yeah.
feel like the jokes weren't formed very well for what you wore. Like if you're going to talk about we and women shouldn't have to do all this and get to the to the existential crisis that is what being a feminine woman is and having to be this way and then what like but you're saying all this and look at what you have on.
I can
And
see your crotch.
I don't mean that like I don't like you shouldn't wear that. I'm not saying that at all.
Right.
I'm just saying
Just
like
didn't match up with
didn't match up with what you were saying, which in the same thing, you want to wear that and that's how you girl do it. Like
you look great.
I'm do it. But it was just weird. It got a little preachy on me and just didn't feel like it matched a lot. I like Eliza, dude. Her specials have always been great. Elder Millennial, one of my favorite ones. I talk about it all. I use that all the time. And she got right back into that stuff. And she does a lot of the same things, right? She brings a lot of her best stuff from her previous ones back. Smart idea. But Yeah, but I use elder millennial all the time. Like, hold on now, I'm an elder millennial. Like, I'm not a millennial, homeboy. I'm an elder millennial.
Yep. Elder Panther millennium.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, but it wasn't bad. Like, there was nothing bad about it. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. I feel like her as a comedian, she's been doing it, what'd she say, 20 years or something?
Mhm.
She knows what she's doing. She's good. They're polished. Her timing, the when she puts her little weird voices in compared to her regular voice, like everything is really well done. Um, it just got a little preachy for me. So, I haven't made a decision on what I'm going to go with. I've got uh I've got a number I'd like to say, but I can't. I'm not allowed to. So I got to figure out if I want to go up or down.
Okay.
Um, I haven't
Not
figured it out
allowed
yet.
to use this number.
Yeah, I think we said we can't use point zeros, right? We can't do like a 3.0. We got to do
Oh, sure.
3.1 or 2.9.
No.
You can't give somebody, we can't give anybody a 2 or a 3 or a 4. That's the whole point of the point system. You can't have a 3.0.
We've done plenty of point zeros.
I've never done a point zero.
I'll bet you have.
I'll put money on it because I thought that was part of the thing.
I never thought that at all.
I've always thought that ever since the beginning. I thought we did the points because
All right.
you can't give somebody a 3. We're gonna have to go back over all 300 episodes and listen just to the last 8 minutes, although some of them could be like the last 20 minutes,
Yeah.
to find out what our grading scale was.
You can use a flat
I'm
number.
not doing it.
Okay. All right.
I'm gonna say
I'll tell you right now. It's funny-
3.1.
Okay. It's
I'm
funny
gonna say
that you that
3.1.
because okay, I'm not even gonna say that. All right, 3.1.
You gave it a 3.0, didn't you?
3.1.
Or did you give it a 2.0?
You gave it a 3.1?
Yeah.
Okay.
You gave it some. Oh, I'm rolling the camera.
I'm with you. I agreed with everything you said. She's been big for a long time and successful for a long time, and she has her audience.
Oh, yeah.
When you get big, you get your own audience, and
Bert Kreischer,
exactly.
and all these people.
people come out to see you specifically, not just a comedy show. So she has her things, and yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of maybe if I was a woman and I experienced different things through different lenses, I might be more into that kind of thing. But it was a lot of the plight of the woman, and that fine.
That's not even. It's the fact that it's just preachy like.
Yeah.
It was missing so many jokes.
Yeah. We always talk about that when you're getting more applause than laughs. That's not good to me.
Yeah, I agree. Yes, yeah, and it's not applause after laughter. It's not really good laughter and then applause afterwards.
Yeah.
Because you're still holding it.
Yeah.
It's just applauding what you said.
It's applause because you made a statement instead of a joke, right?
Mhm.
So, yeah, there was too much of that for me too. I didn't really laugh much throughout this thing, to be honest with you. It was one of those things though, you do recognize good jokes when they
Mhm.
come out, but it's like, okay, that didn't just like make me laugh or catch me off guard the right way or something. So I was the same way. Honestly, I felt almost a little generous with this number, but this is the number I went with. 3.0.
Not allowed.
Then I'll do a 3.01.
I like it. All right, 3.0, 3.1.
Right
Miss
there.
Iliza Shlesinger.
Yeah.
All right, that sounds good. Man, we busted through those pretty good. That's
Yeah.
15 minutes.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yep. Yeah, because we have a new theory. We have a new way of doing this podcast now.
We do.
We're shooting for one time.
Yep.
We're like cutting this thing off at this time. So we start looking like, oh, let's hurry up here.
Yeah.
Okay. Next week's comedy.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Green has a new stand-up comedy special.
Oh my God.
Tom Green. This is on Prime. This is on Amazon Prime. Still have Amazon Prime?
Yeah, we just want.
All right, good.
It's Adam, right?
You get NBC on your TV?
You got me.
No.
Got it. You got me. God, I didn't. I forgot. I'm doing a comedy podcast now with a comedian, professional comedian. Did you go last night?
I did.
How'd you do?
Not good.
No. You going tomorrow?
I'm going tomorrow.
Let's go.
Going tomorrow.
Let's go.
I'm trying to. I'm changing. I'm adding lines and taking words out and stuff here and there, trying to make these same jokes better. And it's just not quite hitting in these open mic rooms where there are a total of 10 people, and all 10 people or 9 of the 10 people are the people there also to perform. So they don't really care about your jokes.
Nope.
They're just
They're
waiting for
worried
their
about
turn.
when it's their turn.
Yeah. I did meet a new dude last night who just started doing it too, and he was really awesome. Like he sat up. He was at both places. I went to two of them last night, and he was at both places. In the smaller one where there's hardly anybody there, he sat like up front by the stage and was laughing for everybody. Was clapping. Was like real.
Oh, that
High
kind of awesome.
energy.
That kind, not like he killed it on stage.
No, I mean
Not to say that he didn't,
Right.
but the awesome you're talking about is he like really helped out the energy.
He brought great energy, exactly. And yeah, so I met him afterwards, and he's like man, how can I follow you on Instagram or whatever? I was like,
He's
you want to
into.
follow me on?
How young is he?
I don't know.
That's a young dude. When a dude
I
wants to
think he's
follow you
pretty
on
young.
Instagram,
He did seem
yeah,
pretty
that's a 20s. He's in his
Well, he-
20s, early 30s.
I was like, well, because I have been doing this thing where I'm trying to not be on social media as much, and so I kind of said that, and I was like, that sounded like I was trying to like not let him. I didn't mean to do that. Like,
It sounds like you're old, is what it sounds
Yeah.
like. Because if you're trying to be a comedian, you probably should have.
and he figured that out because then he's like, oh, or are you on Facebook more? And I'm like, okay, that means you think I'm
He
old.
said, "Or are you on Facebook more?"
So he brought up Facebook, brought up the search thing, and handed me his phone so I could type in my name.
Oh my god, that's so awesome.
So we're friends on Facebook now.
Hey, we were just talking about Facebook friends last week.
Yeah,
One
that's
up,
right.
one upped it.
That's right.
One upped it. Nicely done. Nicely done.
All right. So anyway, thank you for saying comedian. I'm not a comedian, but Tom Green is, and he has a if you have Amazon Prime still, he has a special called I Got a Mule.
Nice. Nice.
I Got a Mule.
Very excited. Very, very, very excited.
Yes. And now, true to form, the Mount Rushmore for this week is gonna be
Yeah, that's what I was looking at that last time.
battery lives. No, let's go with
Chargers.
let's go yeah Mount Rushmore of
Charging cords.
huh.
The C, the mini USB, the old iPhone, like long flat one, the new iPhone, well, the middle iPhone, which was the like had the white thing at the end of it with the little, and then the new iPhone, which is just a C. Like there's a lot of different charging cords.
I get a new iPhone about every 10 years, so I
Yeah,
don't
me
know
too.
most of them.
Me too. Me too.
Okay, the Mount Rushmore. You know what this did do for me?
Hmm.
This is probably isn't going to be very easy, but maybe the Mount Rushmore of autographs, and not like who you would most want an autograph from, like what a person's signature looks like. You know what I mean?
Like Pete Rose, Ozzie Smith,
Yeah,
Johnny Bench,
that's not
Tom Browning. So we're talking about how the flow.
like the coolest looking signature. Nope, I don't like it.
Okay.
We're gonna go with the Mount Rushmore. We've already done water. I think the Mount Rushmore of natural disasters.
Whoa. Earthquake and typhoon.
Those are the only two. They make up the natural
They
disaster.
are the natural disaster.
Yep. I think did one or both of those guys get inducted into the WWF Hall of Fame recently? WWE?
It was
Typhoon?
Typhoon.
Because
Yeah,
he was
his name.
also somebody else.
I watched. He had a behind the. Oh my gosh, that started.
Oh,
Yes,
Is it on right now?
the new season of Dark Side of the Ring started.
Oh.
Yes, but he had a Dark Side of the Ring, but it wasn't even dark. It was just because he died earlier or whatever.
Oh. That's an A&E
He's a
show, right?
sumo wrestler. No, it's ID.
ID.
ID? No, it's not ID.
But it can be found on which streaming
I mean, I have
service?
it on Hulu.
Okay.
I mean, just about anything has it.
Okay.
But no. Did you know that dude was he was a sumo wrestler?
Was he?
Yeah, that's how he's like he was a real sumo wrestler.
He was somebody else kind of big too in the WWF.
Yeah, he was a sumo wrestler. That's how that was the start of it.
Oh.
His gimmick was a sumo wrestler, but
Yeah,
he actually was. That's where he came from.
But I thought I thought he had another name that was kind of popular too. Now I don't know. I can't think of it. But
Hold on, I'll tell you right now.
yeah.
Oh no, not Typhoon. It was Earthquake.
Earthquake.
Earthquake's the one that got inducted. That's the one I'm talking about. Sorry.
Earthquake. Wasn't he like a real religious guy, and he like was a huge family guy? He was like the
John
nicest-
Tenta.
John Tenta.
John Tenta.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I think I remember hearing stories about how he was just like this real Christian guy.
There, yes.
And he
always went home. He did, but he was, where's it at? Kotententa is what his name was when he was a sumo wrestler. He had a sumo, but he was a legit sumo wrestler. I mean, my dude was. I mean, this is his sumo wrestling
21-0-7, huh?
Yeah,
Not
dude was
bad.
a bad son of a gun, man.
I didn't know you could tie in sumo wrestling.
I didn't either.
Don't leave it up to the judges, guys.
Yeah.
Slap your way and push your way to the, push the guy out.
So weird
else.
watching that. Earthquakes. Oh, I said earthquake again. I meant typhoon. There it is, typhoon. You want to know who else Typhoon like?
I do.
What were his ring names? It's Fred Ottman. He was Big Bubba, Big Steelman, the Dominator. Oh, he was the Shockmaster. Do you remember the big thing where the guy came through and he like gums? They were trying to do some big thing on a show, and he walked through a wall. He couldn't see out of the mask they gave him, and his name was the Shockmaster.
I don't think.
Anyway,
Who else?
Siegfried, Hercules, Haggerty, Uncle Fred, Stormy, Poltrick, Strain, Terminator, Tugboat.
Tugboat. That's it.
Tugboat. That's what it was.
Yes. Okay.
Tugboat. Yep. There. I should have looked at this first. Best known for his ring names, Tugboat and Typhoon.
Or do we do the Mount Rushmore of multiple major character? Nope. This is going to be a dark one because these natural disasters are terrible things. But typhoons and earthquakes, and which there was an earthquake today or yesterday, and
yesterday.
Diego and,
yesterday.
Yeah, I just watched a documentary about a volcano that people could go out, take a boat out and see.
The natural disasters are getting inducted this year.
That's what I was.
It's on Saturday. This Saturday is this Saturday and Sunday is WrestleMania.
Let's go to Connecticut. Is that where it's at?
No, it's in Vegas this year. It's in Vegas this year.
I was thinking of the headquarters.
Oh yeah, I think that is. Or New York. No, that's New York, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it's got to be.
John Tenta. John Tenta. Is this dude still alive? Yeah. So at least Typhoon will be there. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. Mount Rushmore of natural disasters. What are your top four terrible things that happen, wildfires and all that? Why am I doing? That's terrible.
I'm totally in for it. It's no, it makes total sense.
Why not?
It's a Mount Rushmore. It's not your favorite. It's just the best.
Yeah.
Tsunamis.
Dude,
tsunami's what's going to take the earth over.
Think so?
Yeah.
Well, because it's mostly water. All it's got to do is.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be there'll be an earthquake that erupts in the middle of the ocean and causes a giant tsunami to just destroy the world.
That's scary, man. I gotta start building my ark right now.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Cool. Yeah, you know what you could do is go back a few episodes, and you could find the best the units of measure of how they measured things on the ark, because we did a units of measure.
That's right.
All right. On that note, we have Tom Green. Never thought I'd hear that name again. Tom Green, comedy special. What was it called?
I Got a Mule.
Sounds about right. I Got a Mule, and this is going to be different. It'll be on Prime, and then we have the Mount Rushmore of natural disasters. Not specific ones like Katrina or stuff. We're just talking about in general natural disasters.
Yeah.
All right, I like it. Until then, don't forget to turn your headlights on.